We are gradually translating fully to Raster, and we'll be doing few things then. So I just want to show you, explain to you few things. Like what I'm going to this extent is that I just want you at any point in time, any data that is needed, you can always work on the data, or anytime the data is needed, you can always produce the data. So that's just to make you an expert. So you should not be like only in one particular place, but you can go beyond just producing a simple map. So we're going to talk about the geological map. So as we all know, geological map are one of the criterion data we use in terms of minerals, and I was able to work on different projects as related to geology, and I know the importance of geological map. And geological map only did not just exist as showing the map. There are so many things deeper than it, but at least you just need to have the basic knowledge of it, and you can use that to replicate or produce any other types of map as related to geology. When you're talking about geological map, so it can be entailed in different aspects. You talk about different types of maps, so you can look at other maps here. You can see the maps. Let's use transboundary aquifer. You can get the maps here. You can download the maps. So there are different other types of map that you can see about the geological map of the world or Africa. There are also other places you can, like the groundwater. You can also produce the maps, the groundwater maps, which can actually be done or get. You can download them and should be able to show the groundwater map as related to different part of world or Africa. There are other different types of digital map as related to like groundwater maps. So this shows you everything about groundwater map. So you can zoom close and probably look at Rwanda to see what happened with your own country. Maybe why is it that you don't have water, or why do you have water? Or you can also check storage, groundwater storage. You can also check the estimated map. So there are different types of map that you can get on internet. You can look at this, so you can see like groundwater flooding. You can see groundwater ecology and diversity, biodiversity, groundwater and health, international ground. So there are different other water something you can check as related to something, maybe underground water, rest of them. Now there are different sites you can download them. We have, for example, like where we have here, we have one geology. So these are different places you can go and get the data that tells you about the geological map or anything that have to do with underground and rest of them. And then remember that this map we are talking about can be of different layers, like it can be on a global scale or local scale. It can be a regional scale, and that is what matters. Like for example, if you look at like last time when I say geological map of Rwanda, like the way I type it, so you see different other aspect of geology. So for some of you, I believe you have visited a kind of mining area. So for me, I visited some of the places. These maps you see here are necessary for them, because if you go to the office, you see that some of the things you first see is this map, because it is this type of map that determine the minerals that is in your country, or determine the mineral that is in a particular place. So geological map is very, very important when it comes to this, because it is when you know the geology, you can know the type of mineral that can be deposited here. So at any point in time. So if you look at Rwanda, you see that some of them are in global and local scale. Like if you look at these maps now, you see now, this is showing you a different types of geological map. This is, you see here, it is not well detailed, but some of them, this can give you a glimpse of what is in a particular place. You can know this is what is in Kigali, or this is what in Musanze. Now, but if you look at this, you see this is more as in more details than rest of them. Now, like I said, there are different websites you can get the map. This one is a bit wasting time, but with this particular geological feature, the type of this thing you have here, you should be able to know the type of mineral that is located anywhere if you are an expert. But if you are not an expert, no, you won't be able to get that. So if you look at Nigeria, you will need see the reason why in Nigeria here we have oil, where here we don't have oil. So most of them are associated to the geological properties of a place, and you can see this is just a purely the geological of the Africa. Now if you look here, you can see more this for Africa. So you can zoom maybe to your country here. I think your country is somewhere around here. So if you zoom to your country, you should be able to see the properties as related to the country, and then you can use that properties you have to be able to go on with detailing the different things you are doing. So some of this map has been there, and you can go ahead, you can download it, you can save it as view, you can see the legend here, you can explore it, you can measure, you can do all of this on the one geology. Now the RCMRD of the East Africa, which Rwanda is part of them, have actually gotten this, and then they have their own data which gives you the summary of African surface lithology data set of map, which is the parent material and the bedrock of geology and unconsolidated superficial material classes. So with this, you will be able to know more about what East Africa or Africa is located. So if you are here, you can go ahead and click on download, and if you download this, you should be able to have the African surface lithology, and that African surface lithology is exactly what I have here, and you can see it here. So if you go ahead to download that, so you download that and you are going to have the data here, and I'm going to go ahead to put it up here and browse the location, and you can see this is African lithology and it's in TIFF file. I will go ahead and add it up here. Then once it add up, you can see the spatial, that's the visualization of how it shows in different area of Africa, and you should be able to use that to actually make, if it is analysis that you're doing, you should be able to use that to understand the geological formation across Africa. So on this is the geological design of Africa, as you can see on my paper here. So if I zoom close to layer, I should be able to see the African lithology, and you can see here this is the this. If you go to the open attribute table here, you should be able to see each and every one of them. Now geology, you might not really know what is here, but what I'm giving you or I'm trying to say is that at every point in time you should know how to use a data. Where do you need to look for a data? So if you look here, you've seen different other types that you have here, so you should be able to know how to bring this data. How do you visualize them? How do you get them? That's just the key here. Now as we have translated to raster, so you needed to get for Rwanda because we only have this one that is associated here, that is related to only entire Africa, but you needed to produce the map that's related to Rwanda. Since you have this data here, and then you probably have Rwanda shapefile, you should be able to replicate the same thing. So if you go here, you can see somewhere here we have the Rwanda shapefile, ought to be somewhere around here. So you should be able to use that to replicate. Like this is Rwanda shapefile here, and if you turn it on, you can have the geology of Rwanda. Now in this case, I did not do anything, but there are some of the ones you need to do. And like I told you earlier, assuming you want to replicate, you can georeference and digitize when necessary. Georeference and digitize. But let's say it is this one that you have this data here, and you needed the whole this thing for Rwanda. You can actually clip it out and then be able to use it for whichever analysis you want to do. So I will return back here, and we have Rwanda somewhere located here, and with this you can see the way the geological map of Africa flow, and then if you need it to go down to Rwanda, you go down to Rwanda. Then on this case, I'm just going to go here, and then here there are two things I want you to know. When you are working on vector, you call it clip, because when you're working on vector type of data format, so if you go to analysis tools here and you go to extract and you go to clip here, so what happens is that this works for you when you're talking about the vector. So these tools works for you for vector. So if you look at input feature here, you see now that the raster, which is this one, thief, did not show here. So what you have here, you see here, what you have here is raster, but you don't here. But what you have here is raster, but what you have here is vector. So anytime you're talking about clip, so you are referring to the vector type of data format. But when you are working with raster, then you are talking about mask. So they are two different things. So when you're talking about this, you should be referring to mask. Now, in terms of masking, there are ways to get it done. Now, if you go to this particular aspect, which is raster processing, you have it here as clip raster. But when you go to it on the spatial analysis tools here, then when you go here, then and you go to extraction, you'll be calling it extract by masking. Now I'm just going to show you two ways of getting raster clipped off. Either it is by extraction or by clipping. So any of them works perfectly. So let's start with mask by extraction. So to get it done, you need to go to ArcGIS, then you need to go to raster processing. No, sorry, ArcGIS. You go to data management tools, you go down to raster, and from raster processing, go to clip raster. And when you're on clip raster, you go in here, select the lithology. So you can see now that the African lithology has been selected because it is a raster. Then output extent is what extent you want it to show. I want it to be in the output extent. Remember, it have picked up the boundary of Rwanda, but don't forget to say output size. It have to use the geometry you have and also maintain the extent of it. So you check this and then you run it, and that's when it will be able to clip the Rwanda the boundary. So I'm using this Rwanda administrative you see here, which is administrative level 2. So I needed it to be clipped based on the Rwanda to be clipped based on Rwanda shapefile. So it will be able to clip it on based on Rwanda shapefile. So the first method I use is clip raster. So this clip raster should be able to give me the clip extent of Rwanda. So if you turn this off, and then you should be able to have the Rwanda shapefile. So you can see this is what we have here as Rwanda geology. So this automatically picked in the attribute information from that particular one, and you can see now that Rwanda have water, volcanic ash, alluvium, others. So I don't know much about this, but if you know much about it, so you can go ahead and then analyze it. But now this shows you the geological map of Rwanda as related to this. So this is the first one. Then the second one, which I'm also going to just like explain, is by going to raster. I'm closing the raster, and I'm also closing the data management tools. Then I will go down to spatial analysis tools and then extraction, and I'm going to use extract by masking. Now what do I want to extract? I'm going to still use the one we used earlier. Which feature do we want to use? Let's also use Rwanda. Now you can see the extract here. Do you want to extract inside or outside? If you want to extract inside, you go to inside, that is what is inside the shapefile. Or you want to extract what is outside the shapefile, meaning it is English that we can understand. If you want to extract inside, you check inside. If it is outside, you check outside. To what extent you say Rwanda administrative to is what you want to extend, and then if it is inside, you run it, and you should be able to have what is inside within the Rwanda shapefile. So if it is outside, you should also be able to have the output of what you have in the outside. So this is this, and then if it is outside, then we will now run it again. So this has given you you can see the output here, as it has given you it's as related to so this is the lithology, as you can see. So this is the one it have given you. So you can see the names coming here, the water, as you can see from here to here. So it was able to give you this one, and this one is also running. So that is outside, and you should also be able to have the output as the outside. So at any point in time, you can switch off, you can move from the layer and should be able to reproduce a map as associated to this. So all the layer or everything we have been doing as related to layer or how the map ought to be shown all goes in the same. There is no difference between them. All of them are just in the same way. So you can do justice to it by using the same way. Put the legend when necessary, when you need to put the legend, and then the rest of other things when you need to put the marginal information, just like what we have been doing. So there is no much different thing again, but this is how you can get a geological map, either by downloading it from already existing one, which is probably on a global scale, or you go ahead by using it by either you have a local one or you should be able to digitize to get that done. So this is just generally how to get it done. So yeah, so this is generally how to get it done. So this is outside. You remember what I clicked, and that's why we're having this one. So this is just this one. This is the clip, this is the one. So you can turn this one off to be able to see the difference between the other one. But you can see here, this is what we have here. And if I extend it down, because I've told you the meaning of this thing, this means that there is another one that is not visible. So if it's something you need to extract, to drag, you can drag it to be able to see the rest of the information. So you can see here the information as related to this map is complete, so you can see where each of them are located, and you can put the title on it, and then you are able to have Rwanda geological map. And remember what I said here earlier, I think I've said this before. So in case you have this, then you can look at the resampling. You can see we have 4 bilinear, so you should be able to make your maps looks better. And where you need to put vertical exaggeration, like if you look at this map here, if you look at closely on this map here, and you can see that this particular map have texture. This one you see here, this is flat, it's just like 2D, no problem. But if you look at this, you can see that it looks like let me see if I can open it in new tab so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. This is Karunji miles. So if you look at this one, what I want to see, if you look at it, you see now that it have a texture like looking at 3D. Yeah, so that's you can always do by making a vertical exaggeration. You can make it that way, and then that should be able to show you. You blend it, and then it shows it vertical exaggeration, and then that should be able to give you a better texture or show you like the way the Rwanda body is showing here. So, but generally, this is the way you can go on with geological map. And the once you have the data, you should be able to reconstruct the data either by vectorizing or by getting the data normally and then eliminate the boundary, and you should be able to replicate any geological map anytime.